Hello, welcome to Sunway Iskandar, Johor Bahru, Malaysia, and welcome to an absolutely scorching, delicious, I think it's Thursday today, maybe Thursday, maybe Wednesday, I think it's Thursday. Anyway, whatever day it is, who cares? So today is another one of those places that I think very few people here even know exist. When I mean here, I mean in the new housing estate across the road. So I'll show you where we are. That's the Sunway big box. And that over there is the road leading to Citrine Hub, which you can see in the distance. That's Citrine Hub. So what we've got is this beautiful sand bottomed lake. Hardly, I don't know if there's any fish in here, I don't think so. Basically it's, the whole area is sand, a very sinky sand at that. I mean, have good fun with your bike over on some of these bits. But this is sand bottomed. I'll get closer, but I'm sinking, so I won't go too close. You can see the water is sparklingly clear, and I don't think there's any living things in it, sadly. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just because the sand bottom isn't conducive to anything. We've got like grass growing in the middle there. But anyway, what I thought we'd do is have a little walk. What I wanted to start with today, though, and this might be a long one, so this might be the whole video in actual fact, we're just going to have a nicer background, is somebody on one of my videos asked me a simple question, and that question was, why Malaysia? Which is a really good question. Why did we come and live in Malaysia? We could have gone anywhere else in the world, I guess, but we chose Malaysia. So as brief as possible, let me give you the main points. As a family, we'd always been looking to move somewhere. We wanted to try something different. We had friends that had moved to France, and we kind of envied the property they lived in and the area they lived in. So we looked at France. We looked at Italy, went to a place called Trieste in Italy, looked at Italy. We were seriously considering Florida and America. I always wanted to go to Las Vegas to live, but you know, you can't, some countries you can visit, but you can't really live. We'd also looked at Cyprus. Cyprus was a funny one. We were going there with the intention of buying a house. We'd never been there before, but it was like we'd heard so much about it. I used to get this magazine in the UK which was all about people buying homes overseas, and like for investments also, but also to live. And Cyprus sounded amazing. And the funny thing is, Cyprus is amazing. So I don't know what happened, but simple fact is, between the airport and the place we were going to, oh, I see a couple of very small fish in the water, that's good. The airport and the place we were going to, the whole family, all of us, we just decided it wasn't the place we wanted to live. I don't know why. I mean, like beautiful beaches, you could go within an hour, you can go from the beach to like a snowy capped mountain, so that was pretty cool. But it just didn't sort of fit us, I guess. I don't know. But something there just wasn't appealing to us. We'd considered lots of different countries. Then in about 2007 or 2008, we went to visit my brother-in-law, who at the time was living in the Philippines. He'd been living in Singapore. We'd been visiting Singapore, fell in love with Singapore. If I could have got a visa to go and work and live in Singapore, I probably would have done so. I can't be sure that this camera's following me. It's definitely not following. You've got a follow on, but we're not following, are we? Oh well. So if I'm slightly off to the side, don't worry. If anything interesting comes up, I'll show you. So we'd gone for a 6-week holiday in Asia. We went to Philippines, went to Thailand. We'd looked in Hua Hin before, I think, Hua Hin, to look at buying a property, and almost bought one. Kind of glad we didn't, because it would have been absolute hell, because the Thais keep changing the rules and regulations on long stay. Other people seem to manage it, but if we're trying to do things by the book, which is how we like to roll, it makes life difficult. So We went to Macau, we went to Hong Kong, Shenzhen in China. And then the following year, my wife is kind of came around to let's have a holiday time again. And my wife looks at me and says, do you want to go for another 6 weeks in Asia? I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. We enjoyed Asia. So it was set. And then a very short while later, sorry, I'm going through undergrowth. A very short while later, she came back and says, do you know how much around the world tickets cost? And I had to admit, I didn't know. So she told me the number, and it wasn't small, but it wasn't as mad as you might think either. And it was kind of decided almost there and then, we do a world tour for a year. It wasn't strictly a world tour as it turned out, but we did go to a few different countries and as a family. So it was my wife, my daughter, my youngest son. My eldest son we'd already sent off to Thailand to learn to be a scuba diver and to become a scuba diver instructor. So as we were traveling around the world, we started off, well, we meant to start off in Thailand, but at the time there was the airport was closed by demonstrations. I think it was the first one, but another one came a few years later, but this was the first one of those. So demonstrations, so we had to basically then, like lastminute.com, it was decided by the airline that they could fly us into Singapore, and then we'd have to get away from Singapore to Thailand. So we got the bus through Thailand, from Singapore through Malaysia to Thailand. And that was really all we saw in Malaysia. Wasn't a lot at that stage. Then we had a holiday in Thailand, met our son for Christmas, New Year. One of his friends, Cameron, came over. Hey Cam. And then we set off around. We went to Philippines, visited my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law. Then we went to, my brother-in-law and mother-in-law, by the way, are English. They've also done the foreign Asian thing. Then we went to Australia for 3 months, and went to New Zealand, went to Fiji, Hawaii, California. Then we ended up in Las Vegas for about 2 months. I looked at my wife and said, so we're going back to England now. We'd let our house out, by the way, for a year. So, you know, it was fair enough, we could go back. And my wife said no. I said, okay, so where are we going to live? And she went, Malaysia. And I thought, cool. Penang or Malacca, something like that. And she said, no, Johor Bahru. I know we hadn't really seen much of Johor Bahru. We hadn't stayed in a nice part of it or anything. In fact, Johor Bahru at the time, when I was looking at this, so it's like 11, 12 years ago, if you sort of read about it online, it was like, oh yeah, it's a border town. It's a typical border town. It's sort of outlaws and killers and murderers, and none of that shit was true, of course. It was just like Singapore government doesn't really like to see people crossing the border to Malaysia to spend their money, so they try to keep them at home by scaring them. I think that's where I see it anyway. So we came to Malaysia, to Johor. My youngest son went to school in a place called Straits View, and we settled into Malaysia. Now, I'm not going to say I loved it immediately, because I didn't. I think my wife settled in much quicker. To me, everything was strange and I wasn't comfortable. But now, which is now 11 years, there are other places in the world I'd rather be, but they are Hawaii, which I can never afford, and New Zealand, which I don't think I'd be very keen on in the winter. So after that, I love Johor, and I mean Johor, not just Malaysia. I love Johor. Although obviously it's not the same city. 11 years ago, this what I was, that, as we've said before many times, none of that existed. That building over there never existed. Those buildings over there never existed. This was all jungle or palm plantation or whatever. But you have to go with the people, the main people. And all we found is friendliness. People here are so open, so welcoming. I'm used to the food. I love the food now. But it still took me a while to get used to the place. But now, I mean, I love heat. So warm here, so delicious, and I can't see me wanting to go back to somewhere like England in the cold. That would depress the living daylights out of me. I cannot stand the cold winters. In the UK, we have a thing called seasonal affective disorder, SAD, SAD. I suffered from that. 6 months I'd be miserable. The dark nights, the dark mornings, the cold, hated all of that. Here, this is like, we have this, we have the rainy season, but regardless, it's still hot. It's still beautiful. Even the rainy season, it's like, you know, you get a massive storm and then it's gone and then the world continues. But once again, we failed in the finding creatures search, haven't we? You think you'd find something here. I just want to say, so why Malaysia? Wasn't planned. It was a kind of a spur of the moment thing, my wife's decision. Took me a while to get used to it. Now I firmly see this place as home, although it never will be because we'll never be able to get a visa for it. But I see this place as home. Makes me happy to be here. I have no intention or wish of going back to the UK. If we have to go anywhere, I suspect it'll be the Philippines. I can stay longer without flying out. Anyway, you take care. We'll see you soon.